Got some people on the live. Fantastic. David, yes, I know. That time of the week again. Goodness gracious me, where is it going? Welcome to the Gold News Channel. Welcome to my live weekly catch-up on all things going on in the markets, what I'm looking at, what you should be looking at. However, before I get started, last week I had a little bit of a rant, didn't I? For those of you that were on would know that I ranted a little bit about certain things. And as a result of that, I was given a big slap on the wrist. That's correct. I was put in YouTube naughty corner. So I have to be very careful about what I say. And Clearwater Seeker, you know, we had a good chat last week, didn't we? Well, I was put in the naughty corner. So this week, we're not going to talk about that thing that goes there or anything like that, because otherwise, you know what will happen? They'll put me in the naughty corner again, and this time they say they're going to give me not just a put in the naughty corner, but I could be banned for a little while, which would not be good for my weekly live, and it wouldn't be good for my needing to speak to people and tell you about what's going on in the market. So no more talk about things that upset the fact checkers. Don't want to upset the fact checkers because I don't know what I'm talking about. So therefore, we will just stay with the not vanilla, because investing is pretty interesting, but let's hope I don't get slapped for that one as well. Hey, Murray, how are you? Good afternoon to you. David, welcome. Paolo, great to see you as well. So let's get on with a few things. Won't be talking about anything like what I talked about last week. So let's hope I don't get banned this week. Let's start off with the fact that, did you know this time in 2008, Barack Obama got elected as the President of the United States? Following on from George W. Bush's tenure, Barack Obama came in with all these talks about how he was going to change the world and everything in it. And he was a much-loved president for a lot of his time. And he spent a lot of money. And where we find ourselves today is as a result of lots of things going on, including governments spending money like it is going out of fashion. And that will continue to create opportunities, threats, and all sorts of other things. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But of course, since then, we've had Donald Trump, who created all manner of divisiveness, I guess. There were those that loved him and those that didn't. And now we have Joe Biden. Now, again, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to go political. I'm not going to go medical. So we'll just sort of say, there we are. That's where we are. But the one thing I will say is they're very, very good at printing the funny money. And that's where you have to look and go, all right, where are the opportunities for us as investors? Now, all of you know that I am a gold nerd. And in fact, I got to show you guys something. Because I bought these today and I want to show you. Here we go. I'm a gold girl. Got myself a pair of gold shoes. I'm going to be like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. Got my little gold party shoes. And there we go. We are on fire with the gold at the moment. Clearwater, yes, I did. And in fact, I had 2 hours this morning and won't say too much about it. But yeah, I'm getting some very good advice and doing some changes. Property, in my opinion, there are those that say the property here in Australia especially is going to come back by about 20, 30, some are even saying 40%. I disagree. And I disagree because there's billions of dollars that's like sitting there. People haven't been trapped. They have not been spending like they used to. So they are spending it on property, whether that's investors on property or people doing renovations or upgrading their homes, whatever. There is a lot of funny money going into the property market. And I think one of the things that you need to understand is that with the amount of money printing, it's your purchasing power. You're losing the value of the dollar because they just keep printing it into oblivion. So that's why I personally think that prices of property are going to increase. And if you want to look at it, they can't make any more land. They can go up. And in fact, years ago, a very smart man said to me, buy land because you'll make the money from the air. And I didn't understand it at the time, but what he meant was, if you've got the land, then you can build a 20-story, a 25-story building on top of it. It's the air where you can make the value, which is going up. Hey, Yui Stick, good to see you. Good to see. Yeah, I know. Yep. Oh, thanks, Yui. That's very kind of you. Yeah, it's really interesting what's going on. So I think what you've got to look at is, I've been saying for a while now, haven't I, to all of you, that inflation is here, not going away. And that you have to then think to yourself, okay, if inflation's here to stay, if the supply chain logistics, I need some water, are in a mess, which they are, if we see that a number of items will be going up in price, I'm saying, basic fuel, cost of food, etc., you're going to see the cost of real assets going up as well. So do not leave your money sitting in a bank, because in inflationary times, you are going backwards. And I believe we are going to be in inflationary times. So if you've got money sitting in the bank, you need to go and get yourself cheap money, because right now it is cheap money. And I don't care. There's all this talk about rates going up and all the rest of it. But if you play it smart, and I basically wouldn't suggest that you over leverage yourself too much, but certainly with cheap money, you can go and buy some real assets and make sure that as these prices get inflated, that at least you're part of the party. Now, gold. Gold is also a hedge against inflation. Always has been, always will be. But I think it's just got to take time to play catch up, because right now with the pandemic, I said the word, with that thing that's happening in the world, what I'm seeing is that the euphoria of people, I guess certain things going up, the stock market is going up, the property market's going up, that people don't see that they have to hedge against inflation at the moment. But I truly believe that if you do not carry any physical gold or even gold equities as part of your portfolio, then not a mistake, but I suggest that you should definitely take a look at it. Right now, gold did tip to 1,800 this week, but it pulled back. It's now sitting at 1,794. That's US dollars, which is about 2,400 Aussie. Now, at those prices, the gold producers in Australia will be making a lot of cash, and a number of them are now paying dividends. And as Uistic said, that Northern Star Resources is finally starting to see a little bit of love today, which is great. What are they at, Yui? They are at Northern Star. Oh, I thought they'd sold my Northern Star. $9.60, so they're still sub $10. I'm expecting Northern Star Resources, which is it's a cash cow. It does pay a dividend as well. It pays about a 3% dividend. So, a good way to do it is put some of your money into Northern Star and do a dividend reinvestment plan, where every time they give a dividend, instead of you taking cash, they'll give you shares instead. And if you don't desperately need the cash, it's always a good way to slowly increase your holding. Compound growth, eighth wonder of the world, in my opinion. So I think that what I'm seeing is, you've got to look at what's going on in an inflationary time. Gold is a good hedge. Silver is currently $23.80, which is about 32 Aussie. I still believe that silver has got a long way to go. But then on the other hand, what we've got a slump in the iron ore price, which is causing a little bit of pain for those who hold the Fortescue Metals shares, which I do because I love their dividend. Will iron ore come back? I think it will eventually. I just think that there's a lot of downward pressure on the iron ore stocks at the moment. But that slump in iron ore is offset by gains in the battery metal players. So the battery metal players are where I'm looking at as well. Like I have a lot of exposure to gold equities, and as you know, I own physical gold and silver. And I really like the gold equities at the moment because they're unloved. And as Rick Rule said in a recent interview that I did with him, he's a contrarian player. He's loving the gold price at the moment because what he sees is a lot, as he said, that's his time to go out and play. It's like having a sale on at the department stores. That's when you go and buy. You don't buy at full price. So I strongly recommend that some of you go and have a look at some of the gold equities. And if you haven't already, go and register for the upcoming virtual gold conference. I've finally gone and finished the agenda, which is on our website, goldevents.com.au. Look up virtual gold conference, but just briefly, Jim Rickards is going to open it. Now, most of you will know he's an economist, he's a lawyer, he's an investor, he's an investment advisor, and he's written a ton of books. And if you haven't read them, it's not my book of the week, but if you haven't read Jim Rickards' book, go and read them. The New Case for Gold, Currency Wars. I can't remember them off the top of my head. They're all downstairs. I've got them all here. We've also got Ian Pliver. And for those of you that know Professor Ian Pliver, you know that he is very knowledgeable. He's a geologist and a troublemaker, as he calls himself. But he will be talking about how preserving your wealth in an uncertain world. Egon von Greyers from Matterhorn Asset Management, a dear friend of mine who lives in Switzerland and loves gold. I'm going to talk to him about what he thinks the future. And it's very hard to predict what the future of gold is. But a lot of people are looking very short term about the gold price. But if you look longer term, if you look back, and let me just grab that as well, because I did have that up a moment ago. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'll just bring it up again. So if you look at the gold price over a longer period of time, the performance in US dollars, for example, it's up 0.25% today. It's up 2% over the past 30 days, but it's down nearly 1.5% over 6 months, and it's down 8% over the year. But then if you go out over 5 years, it's up 40%. So I think we often look very short term with the gold price, but if you looked at it over a 20-year period, it's actually outperformed the share market in an overall way. Sorry, good on you, Kerry. QR will seize your money. How about CBDC? Yeah, okay, I'll talk about that, Clearwater. Yeah, David, let's talk lake resources. Matthew Erat. Okay, all right, Clearwater second. I will do that in a minute. But just coming back to what I was saying, in a bigger picture, if you have some exposure to gold, all it's doing is it's making sure that you protect the downside of your funny money being printed into oblivion. I love it. And gold equities. For those of you that were listening to me back when I was at the Noosa Mining Conference in June, July time this year, and I was saying buy Lake, it was at about 33 cents at that time. For those of you that took my advice, and I'm not saying I'm a financial advisor, but I'm very happy that it closed at $1.08 this week. Now, what do I think? Do I think that this is a little bit toppy and bubbly in the market? Yeah. Could we have a bit of a pullback in the share market? Absolutely. It's very bubbly at the moment. It only takes one scare, like a pandemic, as we knew in March last year, when the market pulled back 30%, a lot of weak hands got out of the market and lost the upside. Because the long-term fundamentals, in my opinion, when you have people like the United States and all, I mean, listen, this week it's the climate change summit or whatever it is that they're having over there in Glasgow, the COP26. They're all talking about the green revolution. They're all talking about the fact that they're all going to be zero carbon emitting in years to come, which I think is not a sensible thing to do. You cannot get to, I don't think you can get to zero carbon emissions the way they're looking at it. And it amused me somewhat to see how many private planes and jets were parked on the tarmac. If all these people were so concerned about carbon emissions and zero emissions, etc., why didn't they do it via Zoom like we are today? Why couldn't a conference like that, if they're that concerned about emissions, why are they all getting their jets and flying into Glasgow? Why couldn't they have done it all via Zoom? Just a point to ponder. Just a point to ponder. Right, core lithium. Okay, I don't know enough about core lithium, but what I will say is this. I think that you've got to have a look at my precious metals, because that's what I love. But I also think you need to have a look at the battery metal players. So some of the ones that I like, I've already talked about Lake. I still like Lake. I still think it's got a long way to go. They're going to be making some more announcements, and I will ask their management to come and chat to me on small caps in the near future when they've got some time. The other one I like, and I've spoken about before, is INR. Now, they've got a big lithium boron play in Nevada in the US. Now, if you've got supply chain issues, if you've got disruptions to shipping and shipping lines across the world, if the cost of shipping goes up, which it has done over the past year, if you're the United States, aren't you going to be looking at INR, which is in Nevada, which I think is going to be going into production in 2024? You're going to be looking at that. They're going to be probably getting some support from the US government, and they're going to make sure that that particular project, which is enormous, and the boron offsets the costs of getting the lithium extracted. I think it's a really good play. Now, that is 79 cents as of today. Yes, I am a shareholder, and I think what you've got to have a look at is what is going on with some of these, but you've got to always look at management. And what I like about the management of both Lake and INR is that they know what they're doing. They're very strategic, and they're putting a solid foundation before they start to really get things going. But it's a longer term play for me. I'm not a trader. What I like to do is I like to find good companies that are undervalued at the time, and I stick. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking some profit off the table if that's the way you like to play it, so that you do what we call free carry. In other words, if you invest 1,000, it goes up by 1,000. You take your initial investment off the table, then you can sleep well at night because you don't have any of your own money at risk. It's all risk to the upside. George Gavin providing an amazing wake-up service to the people at the moment on his Rebel Capitalist. I love George Gavin. Love him. Yui, I would love to. I've actually reached out to George. We're trying to work out how we can connect, but he's a very busy guy. I'm not so busy, but there we go. I also think that you should all look at oil and gas. Doesn't matter which way we look at it at the moment. We're talking, the battery metal players are good, but energy is going to be a massive issue. There's been an underinvestment in oil and gas plays for a very long time. You can't just switch these on. So again, do your own research, have a look at some of them, but I think that there's opportunity in that area, oil and gas as well. And then, of course, you've got players like Kairos Minerals, ASX code KAI. Now, they've got their Mount York project in the Pilbara region. Now, that's a gold asset. But what they found recently, and I will say recently because it was, they have found at their Wodgina project, they've identified some new lithium, calcium, tantalum targets. So at their Wodgina, so it's new lithium basically anomalies at their Wodgina project. Now that's south of Port Hedland in WA, and it's only soil geochemistry work at the moment. But here's the kicker: it's less than 3 kilometres from the world-class Wodgina lithium mine. Now, that lithium mine is a joint venture between Minerals Resources, which is an ASX-listed company, and the US chemicals giant Albemarle. So that mine is going to recommence production next year, and Kairos is very, very close by. So interestingly enough, I invested in Kairos as a gold company, but I think what they've got is that Wodgina project, because it's quite close adjacent, I guess, to the that very significant lithium mine. Those results that have come out this week is going to be very interesting for the Kairos share price, which has been pretty languishing, I guess, around about the 2.8 to 3 cents mark. But I've got a funny feeling that that project, the potential for the lithium opportunity up there, that's going to add another I guess, another opportunity for that Pilbara portfolio for Kairos. And it means that I think that they'll go on to give a bit more shareholder value. So it's pretty low shareholder price at the moment. From memory, I think it closed today. Let's have a look what Kairos closed at. It closed at 3.1. So it's not shooting the lights out at the moment, but that's when you want to get in, when it's not shooting the lights out. So at just over 3 cents, I think it's pretty interesting. Now, I talked about the people that we've got for the virtual gold conference. We've got a bunch of really good mining companies as well. So I will urge you to come along to that. And then we do a Zoom networking at the end of the day from 5:30 to 6:30. That's Sydney time, daylight saving time. So 4:30 in Queensland, 2:30 in WA. So I think if you've got time and you can pop in, come and say hello, right? And then if you are coming to say hello at the Zoom networking, make sure you just pop a little question in and say, hey, Kerry, it's, I don't know, Clearwater Seeker from your lives on a Friday. Come and make sure that I know you're there. Mexico is a mining district. Yeah, look, Ben, really, yeah, I like Mithral. I really like John Skeet. I think he's a good operator, and their grades are fantastic. I like Mexico. I think it is a good jurisdiction. A lot of people listen to the mainstream media and they go, oh, Mexico's scary. No, it's absolutely fine. I don't know what Mithral's share price is, but I don't think it's been doing very much. I'd like to have a chat with John and find out a little bit more, but I know that Azure had their silver projects over in Mexico, and they're now focused in WA, doing some good things with their nickel project, which they got off Mark Creasy over in WA. But I don't know, Ben, I'd say I do like Mithral. I do think it's got good upside, but again, do your own research. Latrobe Magnesium. Well, I did an interview with them on small caps just the other day. Really, really like. I tell you why I like it. I like it because they have been working for a very long time about being able to get fly ash, and by using their patented technology, turning that into a magnesium product. So magnesium will have a supply shortage, and I think Latrobe are going to have a tiger by the tail. Absolutely love it. And I think that there is a lot more upside for LMG. Really, that's my view. But, if you want to have a look at what David was saying the other day, go and check out Small Caps YouTube channel. There is an interview with Latrobe. All right, guys, what else have we got to say today? Any other questions? Otherwise, it is a Friday afternoon. It's almost 4:30. I've still got a little bit of work to do, but I wanted to just jump on today, say a quick hi, make sure you know that I'm not going to be put back into the naughty corner. Won't be talking about any of those naughty things anymore. But always, always, always do your own research. But my tips still are uranium, the energy sector, the battery metals. And I know this gives you, it's a wide berth, but the other thing is, if we do have a pullback, which is possible, if we do have a pullback, you want to make sure that you've got some solid ones in there as well. Like BHP at the moment at just over $36, which is, when it's paying a dividend, I think it closed today at just a tad over $36. So it was up. It was about even for the day, but they pay a decent dividend. They're paying about a 10% dividend, which is fantastic. So if you don't need to liquidate your portfolio, why not buy some BHP? Why not buy some Rio? And Commonwealth Bank that closed an all-time high, $1.09, $1.09 today. They're also paying a dividend. So what I've got is a mix of junior risky ones, but that's helped me a lot. And then of course I've got my base, which is those companies that even if there is a crash in the market and those share prices come down, at some point the market will stabilize, everything will be okay, so long as you don't panic. And it's the psychology of investing that you've really got to get your head around. Don't panic when everybody else is panicking. If you buy smartly, if you understand what the company is doing, then there is absolutely no reason, even if the market gets bubbly, has a bit of a crash, it will always come back. So that's it from me. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Som, thank you from over there in Perth. Really appreciate you. David King, what's that? Off to the moon. What's off to the moon, David? What have we got going to the moon? David, what's your tip of the week? Give us a tip of the week before I finish up. David King typing madly. Clearwater, who is Matthew Elliott? Who's Matthew Elliott? I don't know who that is. So perhaps next time, or send me an email. My email address has got really, really easy. It is kerry@goldevents.com.au. So if any of you want to send me an email, please do. Love to hear from you all. kerry@goldevents.com.au. Meanwhile, have a wonderful weekend. And guess what? I'll be coming to you next week from the Noosa Mining Conference. So at 4 o'clock next Friday, I will come to you from the Noosa Mining Conference. I'll try and work out a way that maybe I can even do it on my phone and walk around the conference and talk to a few people and give you even more of an update. It will be fantastic. So, thanks, David. Like button, everybody. Yes, that's right. Push the like button. Push the like button. And please tell people about my Gold News channel. The more people I get as subscribers, the more interesting people I can get for you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much, guys. And come to Sydney in February and come and meet me, and I'll buy you a drink at the Gold Conference at Crown Barangaroo, 9th and 10th of February. That's a Thursday and a Friday. Crown Barangaroo. What could be better? I want to see all of you there. And I don't care, even if you're overseas, we've opened up the international borders. All of you come to my Gold Conference and let's have a drink. See you next week. See you next Friday from Noosa. Tip of the week, Crypto Smooth Love Potion. Well, okay. I didn't give you my book of the week, but I'll do that next week. Take care, guys. Cheers.